Things keep getting crazier and crazier for Texans news. We talked about some potential signings leading up to the draft. Maybe if they don't get a couple of the positions they like, they go with a few veterans after the draft. That makes sense, right? But not a potential trade for an all-pro wide receiver who is expected to be in a big haul for a potential trade. The Dolphins aren't even wanting to trade him. It's just this article makes zero to no sense. And we're going to talk about basically the thoughts on if the Texans actually do this and all of that nonsense. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments right now. But first thing, if you are not subscribed to the channel, 88% of you watching right now are not subbed. We're really close to 1,000 subs, a huge milestone on the channel. Almost, I feel like we could hit it in the next 2 weeks. Hopefully we could do it before the draft. Again, all the support has been insane. Thank you to everyone watching. The comments have been pouring in over the past few months. We have just been growing nonstop, and I can't thank everyone enough for really just clicking on these videos. It's been a blast to do Texans Digest for you. But as for the video today, Tyreek Hill is being projected. Let me just put the headline. Texans Dolphins trade projection sends $90 million star to Houston. Just to look at that and just think about how that makes zero sense for the Texans. I can't even put it into words how frustrated I am just seeing that and being like, that's never going to happen in 100 years. Like, seriously, do you actually think the Texans are going to give up 2 first-round picks for a 31-year-old wide receiver who is a diva? He's known as a diva. I mean, we could say it, right? Tyreek Hill has expressed frustration of not receiving the ball. And, I mean, he's even been on the fence on if he even wants to stay in Miami at all. He said at the end of the season, I don't know if I'm going to play here ever again. And then in the offseason was like, yeah, I think I'm going to stay in Miami. And now there's rumors coming out that their GM, Chris Grier, is like, we're not shopping Tyreek Hill, but if anyone wants to give us 2 first-round picks and absolutely overpay for somebody who's 31 and his production's going like this, yeah, you could take him off our team. I mean, let's just look at his stats last year and talk about how, no offense, non-productive he was. I will say, Tyreek Hill did play through an injury, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But a guy getting 81 catches, 1,000 yards in 17 games, we have to remember this was a receiver who, again, was an all-pro, great on the Chiefs. He came to the Dolphins, was electric. He was looking at going for 2,000 yards, and then what happened? I don't know if it's the quarterback play. Do we want to blame it on Tua? I think that offense is pretty set up for Tyreek to succeed. He wanted to be the number one, and now it's just like, okay, now the Texans are interested in him. I physically don't understand how are the Texans a trade contender for Tyreek Hill? That was April 7th, not even a week ago. Why would that make any sense? Yes, the Texans don't have the biggest wide receiver core. Granted, I'll give you that. Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, it kind of falls off after that because Tank Dell is hurt. But of all receivers, why would Tyreek Hill fit? It doesn't make sense. You could go get Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper for veteran dirt cheap contracts, like $5 million. Tyreek Hill's getting almost close to $30 million, and he's 31 years old. And then 2 first-round picks on top of that? And his contract's up soon? Like, what are we doing? Why would Nick Caserio ever do that when you're sitting at 25, you have 2 third-round picks, you can go out and get a receiver like Tez Johnson, like Trey Harris, like Emeka Egbuka, like Luther Bird. I don't even care. Any one of those receivers, I would rather than a 31-year-old Tyreek Hill who's on a decline. Who knows if he'll ever, again, maybe it's the quarterback situation. If he comes to Houston, maybe it's a good fit. Maybe this, maybe that. But I don't believe in that. Like, I just don't understand how people are actually saying that Tyreek Hill to the Texans, that's interesting. Yes, but why would that ever happen? Why? That's like saying, that they're going to trade a big-time name to a team just because there's trade rumors surrounding it, right? And I'm sorry I can't give you guys an example, but it's like reading this article just, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not like mad. I'm not like frustrated. I'm just like bamboozled to like, how does this make any sense to anyone? Let me know in the comments, Texans fans. Am I not crazy for feeling this way? Why in the world? I know it would be nice to have Tyreek Hill, but we have to keep in mind his age. Again, his character, that could be a problem. But why would the Texans willingly give up 2 first-round picks and take on a $30 million salary hit? Seriously. I know I keep saying why, but it's really, I still don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. On top of that, Tyreek Hill's contract is up at the end of 2026. So you basically have to re-sign him at the end of next season for 2 first-round picks, and he'll probably want $30 million a year because it's Tyreek Hill. But I mean, it's a smart move by the Dolphins to try and get rid of him, but I would trade him right now because, again, receivers past the age of 30 don't normally succeed. You saw DeAndre Hopkins. You saw Julio Jones' career go down in the dumpster when he went to Tennessee. Calvin Ridley, I mean, he tried to revive his career on the Jaguars after that suspension, but never was the same player. I mean, there's not many receivers that we know that have come back, like maybe A.J. Green. Like, he got hurt. He had that leg, ankle, I think it was toe, but on the Bengals. Came back, was absolutely washed. I mean, he was. So, I'm not saying Tyreek's washed. He's definitely still a great wide receiver, but my point there is the amount of receivers going up in age, how much time do they realistically have left? Like even Stephon Diggs, who's now he's 31 turning 32 this upcoming season, and he's coming off an ACL tear. Receivers getting older is not a smart move for the Texans. Yes, you need a wide receiver, but a smart pickup at wide receiver. Don't just go out and get anybody. Go out and get a viable option in the draft. Somebody who's young, explosive, can run routes. Nico Collins is going to be your number 1 for years to come. So go get somebody who can complement him really well. And all the rumors that I'm hearing recently is Emeka Egbuka to the Texans. And I love that because it's Ohio State. Stroud gets his old college receiver, and that would be a great 1-2 punch because I think Egbuka can play the two perfectly. He doesn't need to be a slot receiver. He can be a jump ball guy. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to take time, don't get me wrong, but slot receiver, Christian Kirk, perfect fit. The Texans have needed a route runner ever since Dell went down, and that can help open up the field. Ibuka's a great route runner too, but of all players, Tyreek Hill is just honestly on the last of my list. I know he's a great talent, but it doesn't make any sense. As terrific as Tyreek Hill is, 31, it likely wouldn't take a first-round pick to acquire his services. That's not true. I mean, if you can get Tyreek Hill for a third-round pick, maybe consider it. But now that I've seen this, that the Dolphins aren't considering shopping Hill unless somebody is willing to give 2 first, I'm like, that's bogus. Like, why would anybody ever do that? So, again, I'm probably, honestly, we could talk about the draft in a bit. I've seen a few mock drafts now where the Texans could be getting Egbuka, and I would honestly, if you're going offense and you want a receiver, I'm either going Matthew Golden or Emeka Egbuka. If Tetairoa McMillan's there, maybe. But I doubt it for where the Texans are. If they move up to 20, I'm 100% fine with Emeka Egbuka. But outside of that, go offensive line. Maybe get a running back, 2nd, 3rd round. Pick up another guard to fill in with a tackle, depending on what you do in the first round. But I'm not even worried about this. Like, Tyreek Hill to the Texans, it doesn't make any sense to me. So the fact that this article is actually something that came out like yesterday morning, I have no words. Like, why would that make any sense possible? Texans trade for Tyreek. Why would that make any sense? It's just like, this is the first and last video I'm going to talk about Tyreek Hill potentially being traded to the Texans, unless somehow, some way, they actually pull it off. But that, again, the Texans would not give up more than a 3rd round pick for Deebo Samuel. They didn't even want to pay him a 5th round pick because they knew they can get Christian Kirk for a 7th. So if you know you could get good value at wide receiver, why overpay for somebody who is obviously on a decline? That's all I'm saying. So there's my rant, if you would, for the day. If somebody wants to go on a rant in the comments, I would 100% validate it. It is okay. Scream at this article because it makes absolutely zippo sense to me personally. If somebody can viably say Tyreek Hill's a good option for the team, go ahead and tell me. But it's been a fun kind of back and forth. The draft is coming up about a week away this Thursday, so it's going to be fun. See what the Texans do. I'll probably do a live reaction. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be fun. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Drop a comment. Tyreek Hill, the Texans' thoughts. I put air quotes because of what I just talked about. Now it makes no sense at all, but again, 88% of you not subscribed. 1,000 subs, we're approaching it. Again, can't thank everyone enough for all the support. It's been absolute blast running Texans Digest for you. It's been Mike Zanetti and Texans Digest. We'll see you in the next video.